Hello everyone, The Walking Virus here, back with another review for you. This time we'll be talking about a management simulator by the name of Little Big Workshop. So let's not waste any time and get to breaking down this adorable slice of capitalism. This is the good, the bad, and the bland of Little Big Workshop. Little Big Workshop is the product of Mirage Game Studios and has the player managing a new upstart factory, making decisions about what products to make, what those products will be made of, and what contracts to accept, all while slowly building up your factory into a larger and more efficient operation. But what great things does it bring to the table? I personally found myself immediately drawn to the interesting choice of location for the player's factory, namely that it all seems to take place on a table with the factory filling in graph paper. It fits well with the charming visual style and makes the game feel like this is what's happening in the manager's head as he imagines planning his own factory. And to spice things up, the gameplay has random events that require a little more active participation, such as finding spies from a rival company in your crew. These events not only break up the gameplay a bit to keep things fresh, but also reward the players with a small influx of cash, which can help out in a tight spot. The music choices are also very fitting and help make the game feel very relaxing throughout. Now that we've talked about what makes this game a well-oiled machine, let's talk about the few wrenches it threw in the gears. The first problem I ran into with Little Big Workshop is a relatively small one, and that's just how limited it is with the information it decides to give you in its various tooltips and tutorials. The biggest example of this is batching, a process that lets you create products in batches of 5 rather than waiting for the entirety of an order to be ready to be completed, an extremely useful tool for the more complicated products, but the game never particularly draws your attention to it. But there's also a much bigger problem at hand, and that's the balance of the products you can create. While the game gives you a wide variety of products to make, there typically seems to be a few that consistently sell for a much higher value with relatively little effort required, which ends up making your choices feel a bit more limited. But with that bit of gear grinding out of the way, let's start talking about some of its underwhelming aspects. Like quite a few other management simulators, Little Big Workshop suffers from extended periods of little to no player input, and while the inclusion of some fast-forward options and event minigames are handy in lessening the amount of downtime, there is still quite a lot of waiting for things to happen, particularly in the later points of the game. Your rival company in the game is also slightly lackluster and doesn't seem to interfere or do much to hinder you very often, with most of my interactions with them being in the early to mid-game. There is also a slight problem anytime you want to redesign or rebuild a room, because in order to do so you have to move everything in the room out of it, then destroy it and wait for it to be rebuilt to move them back in. It's a fair amount of busy work and a bit of a hassle ensuring you have space for the machines. Although I can appreciate the realistic aspect the developer was going for. And that's basically everything I wanted to cover here, so let's head to the wrap-up. Little Big Workshop is a very beginner-friendly management sim that does have some issues that are minor annoyances, but they never irked me enough to make me not enjoy my time playing the game. It made for some very laid-back gaming sessions and was just an overall joy to play. So if you're even remotely interested in management sims and aren't looking for a super hardcore endgame, then I would highly recommend you pick up this title. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. I should hopefully be back with another video soon. I appreciate you all watching this, but until next time, keep gaming.